can draw yourself a center line, as you can see I did there, and then go off either way, and we want to go a total of 7 3/8, and then draw a straight line up on either end, and then you come back from the edge of your material. That's 5/8 of an inch. So we have a small box. Now what we do is we cut us a piece of material that is 7 3/8 inches long, okay? And then we're going to turn it over and we're going to round 2 corners. So the piece is square corners on this side and they're rounded over here or radiused. And that's just because anywhere you have a corner, you want a radiused corner. It's less likely to lift if it's radiused. Fold your material and line up the edge so you find the exact center. That exact center fold mark should be on this line. So if we lay this out, you can see that that's exactly what I have. So now what we can do is go ahead and cut this mark so that I wind up with 2 pieces now. And ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to need to make us a pattern, because we'll come back to this in a moment, because I'm going to show you how I made this pattern. First off, I took the piece and then I duplicated it, and actually why don't I just go ahead and make another pattern. So now I've got exactly the right width. I'm going to radius 1 corner. Okay, it doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to be a radius. All right, and then we're going to lay this down. Now I want the radius to be in this area here, but I want to be able to mark on this paper, so I have to turn it over. And so just so happens we have to put it on this side in order to be able to mark it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to lay the paper down where it needs to go, okay? And then I'm going to hold it and mark this location of where that piece of carbon is. So now you can see that I have that mark on there. It's right there. Now I'm going to take from this point here and come back at an angle. Now how much of an angle do we need? Well, that's kind of a trial, because it depends on the angle this way, and if you're off a little bit it'll make a difference. So that's why we do a little template. I'm going to take a shot in the dark. I've done a few of these, so there's a good chance that I'll probably hit it right on. You may not. You may have to make 2 or 3 of these, or make one and just keep adjusting it till you get it right, and then go and make the final one, which I've done here. So, but I'm going to show you how I got to that point. So now with that, I'm going to set it back under here, and we're going to hold it like this, and I've pretty much got that right on. So now I need to fold this right on the edge of the material so I can get an idea where it needs to be. Pull it out, and then I'm going to fold it just like that. Okay, that's going to match this edge here like that. And now I need to fold this one so that it's on that edge. So what I'm going to do is just mark it here where it needs to fold, and then I'm going to fold it back in the opposite direction so that I can see my marks. Okay, I have that, and now I'm going to fold it back the other way and just line up the crease. And so now you can see where I've headed here. So now I have it matching pretty good. So now all I have to do is go ahead and fine-tune this so that it lays down on the carbon. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and cut this, and I can see that I need to cut this edge more than I need to cut that one. So let me just take a shot in the dark, and we'll try it right there. And this in here I didn't need to cut as much, so we're going to cut it like this, and let's see how we wind up. Okay, this in here needs to be cut just a slight bit more. So the idea is we want this to lay flat on its own. Okay, now Now you can see that I have that matching pretty good. So with this all matching pretty good, I can go ahead and make the piece for here, and just so happens this template was for the other side. So if I take and lay this down here, stick it under, and then fold it back, there you can see how that one there matched up. So you can see I have a left, and now I have a right. And it doesn't matter if these two pieces are, you don't have to make this a one-piece deal. It can be two pieces, because ultimately, because of the split here, this is going to be split anyway. So you can do it in two halves and put it together. Now it's time to go ahead and put it together. Okay, we're going to need to cut a couple more pieces of tape, and what we want to do is we want to match the tape and go from here to the center line, and we want to put a radius again on one side, because what we're going to do now is cover up the top of this. And one thing I want to make note of is you can see that whenever I finished this, I did not radius this corner, but I had radiused this one, and so then I went back and radiused this corner. But I want to make sure and get it stuck to the wing. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this so that it's about the right length, and slide it under here. And now we're going to go ahead and put these pieces, I've already cut them, and they're pretty much a match to the pieces that I had before. So let's go ahead and peel them and stick them in place. So we're going to mark from the carbon out a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch, and the same thing on this side. And then I want to draw a straight line. So now I've cut my tape, and this tape is cut 22 inches long. point, we go ahead and take up tape. Okay, and we will start right here. We'll flip this over. Okay, then we're going to peel this over and mash it down. Same thing with this one. We're going to come over. And we will put a piece of tape on here, like that. Because we're going to make this a round. That. Couple of marks on my table. I have a cross and then two larger marks, and these marks let me know where my wing is to be cut. That's about 6 9/16 from mark to mark, and so I know I got to cut straight down there and then come straight over at about 3/8 of an inch deep. So I'm going to cut 3/8 of an inch deep here, and cut 3/8 of an inch deep here, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this section here out. And go ahead and cut this back. I'm going to cut this piece of tape 7.5 inches. And I'm going to cut 4 strips, 1/2 inch wide. Okay, I have to apologize. My camera shut off without me being aware that it was out of disk space, so I was able to go ahead and tape this off and after cutting the strips. But I'm going to show you what I did. I actually put the tape down. I started on the bottom with the bottom facing up, and I put this strip down first, and then bent this strip around. And whenever I folded it around, it actually got bent over, and then I cut it. I cut the edge of it so that it was parallel with this edge right here, and that would be that edge right there. So then I turned it back over, and I proceeded with another strip and did the same thing over here. That would be this one here, and again I folded it right here and folded it around, and then again I cut it so that it was parallel with this edge here, staying back that way just slightly, and that would be that edge there. And then we went to the top side, and I did exactly the same thing. Doesn't matter which side you start on, just matters that you do the bottom first and the top last. So then I put the black tape down, and I want to run it right with the edge of my material. And again, whenever I got to this point, then I folded the material around, and then again I cut it so that it was parallel with this edge right here, and did the same thing over there. And that brings me to where we're at now, which is I've cut 2 strips, 1.5 inches. Because what we're going to do with these is we're going to put these at this location right here around and have the edge stop on the other side. So what I'm going to do is just do one at a time. I'm going to put it on the top side first. So let me peel this. I'm just going to lay this down so that it stick it to the paper and not to the table. Rods in, I'm going to take a number 2 pencil, and that number 2 pencil should be a snug fit, but if you can put the number 2 pencil in there, then you know that you've got these, and if the pencil is tight, then you know you've got these leading edge pockets exactly the right size. And now here is a rod with the tip on. And after inserting the number 2 pencil, you can see that the rod does go in, and it goes all the way up to the tubing, just like it's supposed to. And then we'll put it in the other side. Just like that. All the way up right to the tubing.